It was never easy. Waking up 3 hours before my 9 to 5, working at my business during my lunch break, putting in the hours after I got home from work. In 2019, I made a decision. I was going to leave the rat race to pursue photography no matter what it took. This video is my story of how I started my creative business and quit my 9 to 5 after just one client. If you're new here, my name is Chris Pieta. I teach creative business and run a product photography company. My story. My story begins in 2016. This journey started right when I graduated college and started working in corporate America. I graduated with a degree in chemistry and started working for a food company doing quality assurance work. I had a long drive to get to the office, so I started consuming audiobooks and podcasts. I started listening to a lot of Gary Vaynerchuk and Tim Ferriss and all the self-help books I could get my hands on. The ideas that Gary Vee and Tim Ferriss talked about were fascinating. I had no idea how accessible entrepreneurship actually was. I thought it was just for a select few in Silicon Valley working in startups. I thought that entrepreneurship was extremely risky, but these guys and the books I read made it seem like it was possible for almost anyone to do. The seed was planted, entrepreneurship was calling me, but I had no idea how to start. In 2017, I picked up a DSLR for the first time. I became obsessed. I would spend my weekends in downtown Chicago photographing everything I could find. Street photography, cityscapes, portraits of my friends, you name it. I was a terrible photographer, but I was determined to get good. I would wake up at 5 a.m. to photograph the sunrise. I would go home and watch YouTube videos to get better, and I wanted to get good, and I did. I put in the reps every day, and I did something each day to get better at photography. And by the end of 2018, nearly 2 years after I picked up that camera, I thought I was pretty good at this stuff. All throughout those 2 years, I kept consuming these podcasts and books from entrepreneurs, yet I still didn't think I had it in me. I was still working at my 9 to 5, and I was really starting to resent it. The work was fine, I just knew that I was capable of so much more. But at the same time, starting a business was intimidating. I didn't know if I could make it work. 2019 came along, and I gave myself a challenge. I want to start a business, but I didn't know if I had what it took. So instead, I signed up for the Ironman Triathlon. Figured if I can complete an Ironman, I can start a business. An Ironman Triathlon consists of 3 events, all back to back. It starts with a 2.4 mile swim, then you hop on your bike and ride 112 miles, and to wrap it all up, you're on a full 26.2 mile marathon. The cutoff time for this is 17 hours. I figured that if I can do an Ironman, I can start a successful company. That's what I had to do to prove to myself that I could do it. I'm not going to bore you with all the training that I did for this race, but here's a recap. I trained 1 to 2 hours 5 days a week, and then on Saturdays it was a 3 to 7 hour bike ride. I did this for 9 months and it was brutal, but I did it. And then when race day came, I was ready. After nearly 15 hours of racing, I crossed the finish line. I actually have the medal still hanging here so I can remind myself of what I'm actually capable of. And the lesson from this story isn't me completing the actual race itself, it's the consistent training that led up to it. For 9 months, I put in the work. I had the discipline to show up and train. And because of that, I knew that if I started a business, it would be successful. So in October of 2019, I made the decision. I'm going to start a photography business and make it work. I knew this for certain, I just didn't know how I was going to make money. By the way, if you're getting any value from this video so far, my weekly creative business newsletter shares info just like this. There's over 2,800 people subscribed to it. I'd love for you to be a part of it. Link for that is in the description. Okay, so now it's October 2019. This is where I start learning and researching how to actually make money from photography. Back then, there weren't channels like mine that could teach you all this stuff, so I had to do a lot of research myself. In the mornings before work, I would read blogs and articles of how people actually made money doing this stuff. I knew weddings were an option, but I didn't really want to do those. I knew headshots were popular, but I didn't want to rent a studio space out. And I also didn't know that I needed a niche either. I tried selling prints, but those weren't really making any money online. I actually walked up to a coffee shop in my neighborhood that was opening up, talked to the owners, and they agreed to put my prints on their walls. That was awesome. This was my first big win in starting this business. But soon I learned that wasn't enough money to quit my job to do this stuff. Eventually I learned that I needed to find a niche and learn sales and marketing. So that's what I did. I built a portfolio and website around product photography. I started pitching myself to local restaurants and coffee shops, and I got some interest. Then the pandemic hit and I lost all potential clients. All this hard work for nothing. It sucked, and I let myself feel sorry for a few days, but then I went back into it. Right before the pandemic, I bought this course on photography, sales, and marketing for $1,500. I can say that was the best investment I've ever made. I began learning all there is to know about running a creative business. I consumed all the content in that course and then applied it. I approached a couple brands and offered to work for free, and they said yes. I delivered the best work possible, and now I had real brands on my portfolio website. That was huge. Then I wanted to get some paid work. I must have sent hundreds of emails, dozens of proposals, proposals, but eventually a company said yes. It was a cookie dough company, perfect for my product photography niche. They signed the contract, paid the deposit, and I delivered the best assets possible. And then I had a decision to make. When should I quit my job? I actually felt confident to do it right then and there. After that first client, I had 6 months of savings saved up and I was ready to do this. The thing that really let me do it though was the system for generating clients. I created the system that was repeatable and predictable, meaning that if I put in the work, something would come out the other side. If I did enough work, I was virtually guaranteed to get clients. I took a bet on myself and that bet paid off. My system worked exactly like I thought it would, and 50 plus clients later, I'm still around. If you need help with your creative business or want to learn about my system, my program Creative Biz Launch is coming out very soon. There's already a small number of people in it right now for the soft launch, but if you want to join when it opens up to everyone, sign up for the waitlist. Link for that is down below. I share this story with you in the hopes that it'll help you if you're going through something similar. Maybe you're just discovering your passion. Maybe you're toying with the idea of quitting your job to pursue something you love. Or maybe you've been working at this for a long time. You've put in the work and you're so close to landing a client, but it all falls apart. I'm here to tell you that this is normal. This is all part of the journey. You're going to question yourself a lot when these setbacks happen, but you need to remain resilient and relentless in your pursuit. No matter where you're at in this journey, you need to remember one thing. It's the actual journey that will be your fondest memories of this pursuit. When you look back at all that you've built, you'll be able to see how far you've come and all that you've built along the way. For me, it took me from October 2019 all the way to July 2020 to actually quit my job to pursue this full time. I was putting hours every single day to make this work. I'll leave you with a quote to get you through the tough months when you're starting out. It will be the climb up that will be your best moments in this journey. The top will never feel the same. That's all I've got today. My name is Chris Pieta, and I'll see you next time.